English in honor of my dear community in Bensonhurst. My father was here many times and he really loved to be here. So today we mark the Shloshim, the 30th day since the passing of my dear father, Anash.org. He passed away on Daled Tammuz, the 4th day of Tammuz, the day after Gimel Tammuz, the Limud of the Rebbe, on a Friday morning. Many years ago, the Rebbe shared a profound insight into the portion of the Torah that Shabbos, Parshas Korach. We know that Korach challenged Moshe and Aaron because he desired the position of the Kohen. But after Korach's downfall, the people proclaimed Moshe emes, but Torah say emes. Moshe is true and the Torah is true. The Rebbe explains that Korach's challenge was not only about being a Kohen Gadol, priesthood. At its core, it was an attack on the Torah itself, whose very foundation is emes, truth. Moshe represented unwavering truth. True peace can only exist when it's built on the firm foundation on Torah and emes. As the Mishnah teaches in Pirkei Avos, Shloshim dvarim ha'olam kayim, ha'adin, v'la'emes, v'la'sholem. The world stands on three pillars: justice, truth, and peace. Peace can endure only when it rests upon justice and the eternal truth of Torah. This teaching reminds me so much of my father. He was a man who stood firmly for the truth of Torah. He was never afraid to express his opinions in matters of halacha, communal affairs, or personal guidance. Every day of his life reflected Torah and emes. During the Shiva, many stories were shared, and one theme emerged repeatedly. A number of Rabbanim remarked that whenever difficult halachic issues were discussed at rabbinical meetings, my father would express his view clearly, briefly, and directly, as one Rav said, Kolea el asayro. He spoke without concern for popularity. His only concern was, as we heard before, what is the truth according to Torah? One story especially captures who he was. Someone once sold my father a used car. This person shared the story at the Shiva. Shortly afterwards, he was stopped by a police officer because one of the brake lights was not working. He received a ticket and was required to appear in court. When my father stood before the judge asked him, have you ever checked the brake lights on any of your previous cars before this? Without hesitation, my father answered, no, Your Honor, I never have. The judge immediately realized he was standing before an exceptionally honest man. Here was someone who was not trying to make excuses or say whatever might help his case. He simply told the truth, even though it wasn't necessarily to his advantage. The judge dismissed the case without imposing any fine. That story says so much about my father. He believed that truth is not something to use only when it's convenient. Truth is a way of life. I always remember a beautiful teaching my father used to quote. There's a verse, emes me eretz titzmach. Truth shall spring forth from the earth. So there's a question with us. If truth is on the ground, why don't we find people that are emes? Why don't people find it more easily? The answer, my father said, is that to find something on the ground, one must first be willing to bend down. One must humble oneself. Many people are unwilling to humble themselves in the search for truth. My father was. Throughout his life, he searched tirelessly for the truth, no matter where it led. As a young man, together with my mother and their 3 young children, my father left everything familiar and moved to London. 60 years ago, 60 years ago, he was a shliach in London. They knew very few people. That he made that courageous decision because he believed this is what, when the truth and his shlichus were leading him. On his very first Shabbos in London, he attended a shul. It was called the Skolia Shtiebel, upstairs in Hendon, where the minyan was held. There he met a 19-year-old man, Alex Sadworks, who shared the story during the shift. My father introduced himself and said, on the first Shabbos he came, I am a Lubavitcher Chassid, the Shliach of the Rebbe. I came to London to teach Torah and Hasidus. If you have some friends, I'd love to learn with you. Alex gathered several young men, and my father began learning with them Torah and Hasidus and giving regular shiurim. What started as a small group of fewer than 10 young men eventually became the nucleus of the community of the shul in Kingsley Way. It was a powerful example of how one person, guided by the truth of Torah and a deep sense of mission, can plant seeds that grow into a thriving Jewish community. Years later, my father and mother, sei gesund, came to visit my wife and I in Bensonhurst and spend time with our Chabad community. From the moment he arrived, he felt the special warmth and sincerity of the community. Together with my mother, he joined us on Shavuos for the public reading of the Aseres Adibis, the Ten Commandments. Looking around the shul and seeing so many children that year gathered to hear the Ten Commandments, it was an afternoon, we made a special program for the children. Filled him with tremendous joy, and it gave him immense nachas to witness Jewish children and families embracing Torah with such enthusiasm. He marveled at what had been built here and was deeply encouraged by the growth of the community. Looking back, it is clear this was the story of my father's life. Whether standing before a judge with complete honesty, searching relentlessly for the truth of Torah, leaving everything behind to build Jewish life in London, or rejoicing in the growth of Jewish life here in Bensonhurst, he lived every day according to the principle of emes. May we honor his memory by following his example, living lives guided by the eternal truth of Torah, seeking truth with humility, and bringing genuine and lasting peace to those around us. That memory, may his precious soul have a great aliyah, the Shabbos have an aliyah, and when we soon witness the fulfillment of the verse, Lokitza Baranu, Sheikh the Afar, together in coming to Mashiach, Rebbe, may we remain Amen.